what's up you guys? This is MCLegoboy here with a Frogracer, the Ekiss 89JZ. I know, right? What a weird name. But there are reasons behind that name, and I'll get to it eventually. But before we get to that, I just want to say that I designed this specifically to be like the longest pod, and also like the widest pod as well. Because I just, I wanted to do something just a little different with it. It looked like it wasn't quite connected. I don't know. Close enough. But yeah, these are definitely some of the wider pods, or at least like something that had like these long fins on the side of it. And I've got some of these teal guys from, I think it was Rock Raider sets that I acquired through just like somebody giving me their entire collection. Old family friends. Then also kind of wanting to make one that just used like one of these ridiculously long string pieces. This is all one piece for the string, and so just to have it be used, it's like, all right, I gotta try and make a longer pod. Technically, the pod rover uses longer supports, but I think this one still nudges it out just slightly when I put them side by side. It's hard to put two like really long and wide pods next to one another to measure, but if you were to put them like right against, like just up against a flat edge, this one still nudges it out just barely because of right here. But this was definitely just kind of a bold choice to try and use up a bunch of my teal parts, and this was back before teal returned. I haven't messed with this since teal has returned, and I didn't really get much new teal. I got 1x2 tiles, and I think that's really it in terms of how much teal I've now gained. I also gained some bricks, but you can't really use bricks in little small MOCs like these. It's definitely a little bit more fragile than other podracers, but I like that whole thing of like just kind of a little bit of fragility to it. Allows things to like wiggle just a little bit more like an actual pod. So let's get into what I built first, which would have been the pods. Using these nice big slope pieces here. And then just kind of filling in some gaps using the stud with 4 sides on everything piece. And I used 2 of those actually. And then this is just a fun little detail that if you can get the light just right, it's one of those things. It's like it's got to be perfect to see the lighting. But yeah, we'll do that. Get a flashlight to the rescue. All right. Maybe. There we go. Get a little bit in there. But you can see that orange. And that was something that I put on Wolfstar Pack's Podracer, the Black Mamba. Just little things like that to where if you got the lighting just right, you could see some big sort of like combustion stuff happening inside. Kind of move on to the back. I wanted to show a little bit more of the pods that were more greebled on the outside, better than say with the Crimson Charger and stuff like that. I liked this megaphone piece, was really good. I'm using a long, I think it's the 6, or maybe it's the older 7 one. Yeah, it's the older 7. Or no, actually it might be the newer one. Point is, I'm using one of those long bar pieces to keep this thing together. And of course we're using a trash can because had to. It looks so good as like the end of a booster thing, because it's got all the nice little ridges. So you just kind of use your imagination that's where all the exhaust is pouring out, and they can do like the little funnel cone stuff like Anakin's pod does. And it just barely, if it is touching, it's only because the string has actually stretched and loosened up. But it's barely not touching, or maybe it is touching. I don't know. I'm trying not to worry too much about it. And then we move on to the chassis, which is probably still a lot bigger than it really should be for a pod racer. Like if you compare the sizes of engines to chassis. But, you know, these are frog racers. We've got weird proportions. I mean, this one's like bigger than the pods itself anyway, so. Got a little reddish brown frog. It's the only instance that I will be using anything that's after 2004 in a color that, like, where it changed. So, you know, your grays and your browns, they changed colors. I still have yet to use anything with dark green or dark red or even dark blue. But those all have their subtle changes because in 2006 or so, or maybe I don't remember exactly when. There's new and old versions of those colors, and it's all based off of how transparent or translucent they are when you hold it up to light. But here's our connection with the string. It goes underneath, and just to get a little bit extra tension, can't see that at all. Added this clip underneath to really strengthen things. Got some nice little headlight bricks and teal going on. And then, you know, because I used teal, it's like, okay, well, there's not a lot of small teal pieces. What other thing can we use? We can use blue, and blue is a nice additional accent color. And of course, because of math and how that all works, you're able to get this nice little design like that on the side there. Because every brick is 2.5 plates wide, and the this just happens to be like half a plate in height. And, you know, and so then it really started to make me think, man, this reminds me of the 90s water cup design. Now, the water cup design uses purple. They don't make purple blue teeth. The blue teeth are the only pieces in here that are like the teeth. There's no other parts in here that are blue. Every blue part is a tooth.
Everybody got that?
So, you know, just pretend that it's purple. And, you know, I went online to look up this 90s water cup, and it was made by Gina Ekiss. The piece that she submitted to this contest for a design was called Jazz, and it was the year 1989. So the Ekiss 89 JZ is just a big reference to that. So, you know, this is just, it's I had to. And when you look at some of the names that these pod racers have, man, it's crazy names. Because it's just like numbers and letters for some of these people. It's like, that's not too exciting to have as a name. So that's why I also gave it the Ekiss portion. And of course, one last thing, this windscreen is this nice cool blue color. It's the Alpha Team Arctic Mission blue. It's the same as Ahsoka's lightsabers. Different from Anakin's, of course. And my camera's about to die. So, this has been MCLegoboy with the Ekiss 89JZ Frog Racer. See you guys.